The woman says, "Sir, please give me some work. Anything will do. It would be a favor." The man angrily says, "You came to bother me again? There's nothing here." The woman says, "I'm sorry, sir." As she starts to leave, the man looks at the child and says, "Wait, this child, is he yours?" The woman says, "Yes, he's mine." The man says, "I can give you work. Come inside." The woman says, "But why inside the house?" The man says, "Don't be scared. It's about work." The woman says, "All right, if it's for the child's well-being, I'll agree." Inside, the man says, "You just have to look after my son. My heart says you are the right one." The woman says, "But what happened to him?" The man says, "Come, see for yourself." He opens the door and the son says, "How many times have I told you, don't open my door?" The father says, "I just wanted to see how you're doing." The son says, "You don't care. You only pretend to worry." The father says, "I understand what pain you are going through." The son says, "You don't know. No one knows. Close the door. Go away." He sees the woman and child and softens, says, "Is this your child? He's very sweet. Please take care." He closes the door. The woman starts to leave. The man says, "Wait, the moments with you were peaceful." The woman says, "I'm sorry, I can't help." The man says, "I've never seen my son this calm before, like he was with you two." The woman says, "But I'm not ready for this." The man says, "He's a great person, but you've seen his condition. Please help. The real job is to bring him back to life. Alcohol and cigarettes have broken him." The woman agrees. Later, she brings food for the young man. The young man says, "Sorry, I scared you yesterday." The woman says, "It's okay. I brought you something to eat." The young man says, "Thanks, but I haven't felt hungry for days." Then he asks, "Where is your child?" The woman says, "In the other room. Your father allowed it." The young man sadly says, "He reminds me of my son, and you remind me of the woman I love." The woman says, "Where are they?" The young man says, "Not with me anymore. It was my mistake. The brakes of the car failed. I woke up after 4 days, and then I found out they were gone." The woman says, "I'm sorry, but my family believes that those who leave want us to be happy. We must become better for ourselves and them." The young man says, "How can I smile when they're not here?" The woman says, "Your father loves you a lot. Don't hurt him more." The woman leaves. The young man says, "Your son is very beautiful. I feel like he'll grow up strong." The woman says, "Yes, he takes after his father, who is no longer with us. It was a work accident. Now I've learned life moves forward and we must stay strong." One day the young man comes and says, "I brought these clothes for you and your child." The woman says, "Thank you so much. You don't know how much this helps." The young man says, "No, actually, you changed my life." The man comes and says, "Thank you, my son is better now. Here's some money. You can go if you want." The woman says, "Thank you, sir," and she leaves. After a while, the son says, "Dad, did you see Alejandra?" The father says, "I sent her away." The young man says, "Why did you send her? She came into my life like an angel. I have to find her." The young man runs after her, finds her. The young man says, "Where are you going?" The woman says, "I was thinking where to go. My job is done." The young man says, "No, you were not just a worker. You became the cure to my pain." The woman says, "What do you mean?" The young man says, "You came as light into my life. I want you and your child to stay with me forever. We deserve a new life, don't you think so?" The woman happily says, "Yes, I also want to stay with you." The man says happily, "This scene brings peace to my heart. I'm sure your life will be filled with happiness." If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.